I just continue by showing you something that Daniel, so this is a presentation from Daniel and myself. So gLw, so showing you what we have been doing in gLw, Dixit, and CleanFlow endeavors. So these three common endeavors that kind of converge into the same targets. So it's about co-creating transdisciplinary, clear understanding with the purpose of also leveraging a rich legacy, or in a way, this is our baseline. So we have this rich legacy in our hands, and we want to bring it alive and to keep on working with it. And we are already so working and making so co-creating already so much more than what we have received. And finally, about the tools we have developed in order to analyze the knowledge integration. So it is quite a presentation of what we are doing technically, so but with the purpose of giving you a broad outlook of what we have been working in. First, sorry, that is partially, I don't know, in Spanish. So these are the projects that has been directly linked in the development of gLw, which includes all these contexts. So the oldest of these endeavors concern the International Encyclopedia of Systems and Cybernetics. This is even older than what you see, because it is being shown here. So from 1990 to 2004 for the International Encyclopedia of Systems and Cybernetics that was directed by Charles François. He was working from much earlier. He was always close to the system scientists and cyberneticians like Norbert Wiener, Ashby, Bertrand Lamphey. He was working from the 50s with them. And in the 70s, it was noticed that even though the system science and cybernetics had the intention of creating a transdisciplinary platform, so that means a theoretical framework sufficiently abstract so that any practically any knowledge domain could participate, because it is an abstraction from the nature of the system. So the idea of the system is above how these systems are realized. So it can be used for a natural system, for a social system, for a technical system. It can be a biological system. In any case, we can always use the system theory. And even though they developed these frameworks in order to provide a theoretical platform that before didn't exist, because in the 19th century, since the 18th century and 19th century, the sciences start to specialize deeper and deeper and deeper. And in the 20th century, they were too much split. And these people was observing that either we do something to embrace and to bring all this knowledge together, or we cannot cope with many of the issues we have, because reality is united in a way. So there are many relations that are being lost in this cutting, in this division of the specialities. They wanted to do that, but when they arrived to the 70s, then they observed that there was a multiplicity of terminology that was kind of devoting the very purpose of integrating knowledge. It was a problem for the community of system scientists to understand each other. So the for example, very famous cybernetician, and together with Bertrand Lamphey and other systemists, they were discussing that we have to do something. We have to do what actually Charles François took seriously and started to work in it. So at the beginning of the 90s, he already had a dictionary in Spanish about system science, and this is one of the things we have been also working with. and we will show you. In this diccionario in Spanish was later developed in the encyclopedia, and there are 2 editions that were published, the last of them in 2004. So this is, as you see, a very long time endeavor. Similarly, and around the end of the 80s, the Principia Cibernética, they, on the bottom, they had the intention to create the foundations, like in the Principia Mathematica. They wanted to do it for mathematics altogether, as Isaac Newton did it for mechanics, using the same name, the Principia Mathematica. So they wanted to do it for the Principia Cibernética, to describe and to create all the corpus, or all the theoretical corpus, well rooted, well grounded in, so consistently, very coherent, to build up upon the most basic principles of system science. And this has been carried out by a group of people from Palo Alto, the University of Belgium, several people we have been also working with. Huyligen was the last one who was coordinating. So these are kind of the oldest pillars of gLab. In 2008, 2009, I started together with a group of people who we founded the Vitrum research group, and we started to develop the Glossarium Vitri. In this development, we also created a methodology, which is the interdisciplinary glossaries, which is alien to the idea of glossary, because a glossary is the collection of the terminology for a scientific discipline, for a specialty. But if we bring together interdisciplinary glossary, that means that we collect the different perspectives that exist. In that case, was for the information studies. So how information, data, and so on is being understood. And we wanted to collect all those views. So that was developed since 2009, and this represents the basis for the interdisciplinary glossaries that we have in gLab. So gLab was developed from 2019 to 2023 with the idea of creating the platform for collecting all this corpus and to offer the possibility to keep on creating more content, so to facilitate the co-creation of interdisciplinary knowledge. We create the platform and we start to bring content, and actually we brought a lot of the content, and in parallel to that, we also carried out several projects in educational context. They were gLab Edu, gLab Uni, gLab Mosaic, and ComLab for different orientations. Uni was to bring together kind of a unity that was lost in the university because of the division among the faculties and departments, the division of the knowledge. We wanted to offer the original idea, to recover the original idea of the university. So we keep on making clarification of concepts using the model of Glossarium Vitri, but in educational context. For example, we did it with telecommunication students, telecommunication engineering students, and also students who were doing other stuff, like, for example, philosophy, management, economics, or in different fields. But the one that was more solid, broader, and deeper was for telecommunication engineering. Then we, in 2025, until 2027. At the same time, we started 2 projects. One was the Glossal App Dixit, that was in order to bring together all these contents and to make it semantically operable. And so to annotate all what we have created before. And this semantic annotation serves for several purposes. One is to make that the different collections can coexist. We start to have a very large amount of contents, and it was difficult to extract it otherwise. So this is one of the ideas, to have a system of collections, and this is something that right now we have already working. And also to provide measures to analyze the knowledge systems that are being developed within the Glossal App platform. At the same time, we have the CLINFO. The CLINFO is for clear information, for developing tools for clear information. And our, so in a way, they both are confluent, particularly in our team, in the Glossal App team. Other people in the project CLINFO are working, for example, more with administrative contents to bring clarity. So we are mostly focused in bringing clarity in scientific context, and particularly in interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary. So to make it also more effective. So they both are confluent, and this Glossal App workshop is devoted to the purpose of both. This is a representation of what we have been working in the different years. So this is the Charles François International Encyclopedia of Systems and Cybernetics. This is from Principia Cibernética, which was always held online as a web system. And this is the last book edition of the Glossarium Vitri. So we have been working in bringing into the platform Glossal App and to develop tools for having knowledge integration analysis, for facilitating navigation. And this is a representation of what we will show you later, which is the Encyclopedia of System Science and Cybernetics, which is a kind of transdisciplinary encyclopedia, like what could be in the edge of the pyramid I will show you. So the way we have the platform, we can create book series, scientific journals. So we have been doing in parallel sometimes with publications in journals or other books editions. So these are just I'm not going to repeat it. These are just representations of the first pages of the memories of some of the projects in which we have been involved. So the levels of development of the Glossal App endeavor has been the technical level. So for the development of open platforms, the theoretical level, in which we offer the ways to contribute to different interdisciplinary fields, plus together with also the discussion. So facilities means to discuss, and it means to integrate, following the methodology of the Glossarium Vitri. The third level is the meta-theoretical level. So in the meta-theoretical level is about the evaluating, so the quality of the integration of the knowledge integration. In a way, it could also be understood as a way to measure the intensity of interdisciplinarity. And it also has an organizational level that also is based in system science. But I'm not going to talk about that. So in the Glossal App CLINFO, as I mentioned, it is clear language inclusiveness and the mapping of the information understanding for us. So the combination of both. What is the result of that joint endeavor? The gLw Dixit project is about the development of the federated system of publications that are indexed and are oriented for transdisciplinary clarification, and it's assisted qualification by artificial intelligence or by hybrid artificial intelligence. Sorry, because I had forgotten. When I went through this, I completely forgot that this was in Spanish. So the corpus we are immersed in, this is what we are going to show you. So what are the corpuses? What is the baseline from which we departed? What is the idea of the federated system of interdisciplinary glossaries? So what is the semantic annotation we have developed? And then I will show you some of the collections in the state we have it. So these are the collections. So this is the encyclopedia that I mentioned before, the dictionary of Charles François, Diccionario de Teoría General de Sistemas y Cibernética, the Glossarium Vitri, the 2 editions. Actually, there is the third is carried out already in gLab, and Principia. So this is what I told you before. This is the platform as we have it now, because this is kind of showing you what we have in our hands. On one hand, we have the symbolic identity of gLab all around the platform. For user management, you have tools here for accessing. A lot of work has been devoted to making that the platform is fully multilinguistic, functional, and this has been giving us a lot of trouble indeed, because it's not that easy. So there are when we had a clear idea of what to do, but when we get to implement, we saw it is a lot of work. So this is when you visit it, you see the aims of the platform and what is kind of the purpose. But actually, as I have mentioned several times, so far, we haven't developed it yet, the platform, as to make the clear venues to get into the content. So we are mostly working right now in making that this corpus is interoperative. Meanwhile, many people is already working, but we haven't prepared the venues for the public. So because it's in our plans to have very easy ways to access the different corpus, like, for example, the encyclopedia, the dictionary, and so on. And this is because we are doing a lot of work still on that. And Teresa will show you whenever she arrives. So the baseline, as I mentioned, that was Glossarium Vitri. If you visit the platform and you type into the search box, Glossarium Vitri, always remember to have 2 S, then you can get into the page where you see, so what is the purpose? It is with the state similar as what we have. At the beginning of the project, the gLab Dixit, we already had it. We did it in the previous phase, so to have the contents. But in a way, it partially disappeared because we created the semantic annotation, as we will show you. This is for the other corpus. This is from the encyclopedia. This was particularly difficult because the way the editor, the publisher, the German publisher, gave us, which is a well-known publisher, but nevertheless, it was just oriented for printed. It was not oriented for any interoperability. And we had to work in making that the content transference were reliable. And we did it into several steps. So this is some of that. So this is the transformation from the original coding with already a lot of work. So to have it in this state, this already has a lot of work because this is already in LaTeX. But this was done in the previous project, in the gLab project. Then we transform that LaTeX into a new coding with already the semantic annotation we wanted to have. With, for example, we need to have an idea of what is the knowledge domains, as we will show you, or who the author is, and if we know that the author has this qualification, all that can be traced, and then we can know a lot. So when we bring it together into the platform, so this is an article as we had it in the original page, and this is how it ended. And actually, it's not how it ended, because right now, this is something we have done in the past month. Those bold are already links. And in order to make these links, that was a lot of work. And this is something we will explain you the day after tomorrow. So how we have done that. And partially, Teresa will explain a little bit about it. About the semantic properties, one important thing is so annotating what are the knowledge domains, because we want to be transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary. So then we annotate. So for that, we did a classification of all knowledge, developed from the universal decimal classification, but adapted to partially adapted. That, by the way, it will be worth to review some of the parts, because it was developed in 2019, and some of the times we thought maybe we need to reorganize a little bit. This is the way it is, but this is the semantic annotation. This is the result of the semantic annotation. After it is semantically annotated, then we can see what is the relation with other subdomains, what is the relation with other articles. So whatever, in this case, this is geography. We actually don't have any article of geography for the time being. So therefore, we don't have other articles, but with the semantic annotation facilitate that we can reorganize, and the machine can find whatever is needed. This is the other corpus we were working with. This is the oldest, the Diccionario General de Sistemas y Cibernética, the Teoría General de Sistemas y Cibernética. So also from Charles François, the same author or the same director of the encyclopedia, and most important author. He practically developed everything, and the way it was. So the edition, the level of the quality of the edition, it wasn't that good. So it was bad, but as you can see in the introduction that we have in Glossal App, they wanted to run into the next step, that was the Cybernet, the encyclopedia, and they just published because they considered it was very worth to have it, and this is one of the reasons why the Sociedad Iberoamericana de Sistemas Generales is willing also to cooperate with us, because they are also confident that the Diccionario can be very important for thinking in the future, also for Iberoamerica, so for developing and planning a better future of what we have. And the system science and the system perspective is something that is worth recovering. And the tool is very useful still today, because the work that Charles François did was collecting all the views that existed in system science. And it's an amazing work, but editorially was not that good. And so we have been working with it using Daniel, by the way, if you want to explain anything with more detail, you can give it, or we can in the discussion, maybe, and Daniel can give more details if you want. So we use, so first in this case, it was just the paper, the scanned version of that, very noisy. And the first thing we have to do, it was recover and not that noisy version. And that was hard. It took us a long way. we use also artificial intelligence in order to find the terminology that was wrongly converted and to see what could be the correct terms and to create also the correct coding. So with that, then we ended into this an article like this. For example, this is for Nivel, and with this observation. So this content is the result of a process that needs to be reviewed, and this is something we have been already doing. So in May, so April, May. So it was developed. So the review of all the pages, and so now it is also done that step. So this is kind of the translation. So more or less it's the same that I showed you. But when we saw the properties, then we observed that so what links exist with other articles, if they are needed in order to understand the concept. And so the semantic annotation provides us the properties that are being also indirectly received, so that other articles also call this article. So and the system, so the semantic engine facilitates all that finding. So originally we started, so from this point, we only had a system of categories for content organization until this wasn't enough. Actually, we published in 2022 or 2023, the article in which Antonio was. And then we schematize this purpose. So we want to have a federated system of interdisciplinary glossaries, proposing this categorization so that we need to annotate who is the author, what is the source, what are the knowledge domains, and what are the collections that in which the content is being developed. But it was very difficult to carry out this objective of facilitating the communication between some local interdisciplinary glossaries. For example, this is for education. Within education, we have one specific for telecommunication. We have another one for philosophy. And so the idea is that all these interdisciplinary glossaries, whenever it's worth, because they define terminology that can be appropriate for the study of information, the study of systems, or the study of cybernetics. If it is worth, then it could be placed in some of these collections. And on the highest level, so for a transdisciplinary, so useful for any knowledge domain, is what is our objective, what I told you at the beginning. So for all that was this is an schema of all the semantic annotation. So instead of having just, for example, the articles and reviews and all that, then we have like objects and all this is semantically annotated, which means we have triads that connects. For example, one person is the author of this article. This other reviewer has reviewed, for example, has created this review, and this review is about this article. This article belongs to this collection. This collection is also linked to the knowledge domains. These are the knowledge domains, and we can have one collection, two collections, three collections. So the purpose, one of the important purpose for the Glossal Lab Dixit project was to have a system of interdisciplinary glossaries as scientific collections of papers that clarify concepts. So the first phase of the project so was articulating the corpus, then development clarity tools, and also validation of clarity, and implementing tools for supporting clear content creation. This regards the Clean4 project, but together with the Glossal Lab Dixit. I'm not going to stop here, but this is kind of the way we annotate. So for example, if these are the articles, then you see in any article some information box on one side, and all the links that you see, they are active links. So they created what you click. Often they create content, which is they look for the contents. For in this case, for example, is for the author. So whatever this author has published, we can collect that and collect also the biography and all that, and then it's created. It can be created this page if it wasn't done before, and all of them facilitate so this linkage so from one contents to the others. So this is an example of one alphabet already put into the platform. This is for a person. In this case, this is my own profile page. Many of you have already created a profile page. This is for a collection. This is also for the collections has volumes. So this is about how it is. So the different objectives that we have, and this is a very important part that I have mentioned before, the knowledge domains that respond to the categorization that I mentioned. And we are in the current situation. This is kind of the working plan of what we are doing now, in which the gLw platform is connected to the development of the learners or scientists. So the scientists create contents, so the scientists are connected to knowledge domains, so they have expertise on one knowledge domain or another, and then they create clarification. So when through the annotations that we do, then we can see that this is the understanding of one term. So from this perspective, or this is the understanding from this other perspective. So all that annotation facilitates us to distinguish different characteristics. For example, also if it is female or it's a male. Then using a horizontal ontology and with natural language processing or with large language models, then we create a co-occurrence network. This is something that we will show you on Wednesday. The co-occurrence networks that we develop. And with this co-occurrence network, which is the connection that exists between the concepts, so the way we clarify concepts is always in community with other concepts. So how we understand a concept is never in isolation. So in isolation, so there is a theory is explained through concepts, but the concepts are also understood through how they are connected to other contexts. So when we take together all the clarifications, then we have a co-occurrence network, and we can see it only from one article, and this could be the mapping, the knowledge map of that, the understanding of that term. We can, in virtue of the annotation, then we can filter. And then say, okay, males understand this, females understand this other thing, or seeing from social sciences, these are the linkages that exist between the contexts and so on and so on. This is one kind of a co-occurrence network we are working, but we are also working in having even more sophisticated co-occurrence networks in which the links also contains the verbal relations and the adverbial relations or the prepositional relations. So then we can go only to the statistical one, so how frequent one concept is connected to other, or we can see how frequently it's connected to a particular verbal relation. And with all that, we can measure the epistemological diversity. So that means how many people are participating and how diverse this understanding is. So if it is very diverse, so that means that we may find problems also in coherence. Normally, if we have something very diverse, we will have some problems of coherence, but we want to keep both. We want to to leverage the diversity, and we want to intensify as much as possible coherence. So for that purpose, we need to measure and to point out, okay, here there is a problem of coherence, and we are working on the ways of developing this measurement of coherence. And thirdly, we also want other knowledge qualifiers, like for example, clarity. We want to have that they are not only clarified and broad the definitions and so on, but that they are easily understood or as easily as possible, without loss of complexity, of course, without the loss of the intrinsic complexity. So as simple as possible is what we want, and as well rooted in very well-proved knowledge, like for example the references. All that is thanks to the annotations we keep. With all that analysis, then we have a plan for developing ontology. So that means by observing here, so for example, I can observe that one term becomes central. It connects many, and is the central of a grouping. We analyze the grouping in the network, and then by finding that, then we can see that this is a category that can be used for understanding, for example, among different disciplines or within a discipline. And this term, for example, is only connected within a discipline. Then we can forget when we move to a transdisciplinary framework. And with that, then we can distinguish the mid-level ontologies or top-level ontologies. And then all these top-level and mid-level ontologies can be used in order to organize the content. And with all that, then we have the purpose of making this analysis. So thank you very much for the attention. So now it's time for discussing whatever you want. We have people. People. Do you want to say anything, to ask something? Ask something. It's connected here. Nobody want to ask? What said? Oratio, dear colleagues, Cretin from Bucharest. So Cretin's Oratio. Is Oratio still connected?
Everything clear.
Everything clear. Too long. You can be critical. Is Teresa?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Teresa is not? Let me see, because I want to know if she's going to present or not. I want to be sure of what happened with her. Make me a question.
Me?
No, for example.
In one of the slides, you told us that when you compare, yes, not this one, it was when you said that
with encyclopedia?
yes, Daniel, yeah, it was there, yeah. Yeah, you use the AI to convert.
Here, I think it.
No, it was
Here.
So here the first step was to apply an OCR in order to obtain the different character and different word. And then here you apply the AI just to obtain a new, I mean, what was the purpose here in order to apply the Gemini for the...
I can explain it, but I think, Daniel, maybe you can explain it better.
You can say something.
No, it's what was the task
Yes.
in the process. just after the OCR?
Well, after the OCR,
We did several interactions, actually. It was not only an interaction.
yes. The resulting text from the dictionary is more like a mess because mainly OCR engines interpret the text like lines. So we just first the text with a neural engine trying to reconstruct the original paragraph breaks from the just from the meaning of the raw text in a single line. And
So it was just a process of
Yes.
format.
yes, just a process of formatting.
Mm,
Then after the formatting, you have all these meta information on the headers and the raw text. You get the raw text, but actually OCR is very bad at identifying bold text and italics. And
no, my main concern is related to the problem that this kind of tools, the AI tools, have with the, I don't know how to say in English, alucinaciones, no? The hallucination. Well, I don't know if this is the correct word.
Yeah, yes,
Because if you apply, I mean, I think this is a sensitive, I mean, here we have a sensitive information. Each term has its own definition. So maybe the AI introduce some bias in the definition.
AI are stochastic by nature, so the output is basically random. Well, you can choose it not to be random, just lowering the temperature to 0. But in this case, you exchange precision with time, and instead of relying just in one iteration, the first response, it's known that LLM engines are more right than wrong when asked the right question most of the time, but not all the time. So if you have an 80% of éxito, of success, right? Then you just have to repeat it 6 or 7 times, and you have a pretty strong probability of getting text right. So our approach is multiple iteration, and then of course is the human curation.
That is what I mean. I think it's a really important step. In this.
We are not delegating all the work on the computer. We are just making the computer make the inhuman work, and humans make human work. That's the main idea. So humans, we can really read a text and get the hang of it, just hovering or sight over a text. So what was the process? We extracted meta information. We get the OCR. We extracted meta information. We reformatted the text with several iterations, and then we get again an AI to find where we got a raw list of titles of the articles of the concepts on the dictionary, made a hard list, and then correlated this hard list with all the raw text of the concept in order to get the links to the correct pages. And when we did all of this, we got a person to read and correct the information. Of course, it's a great effort, but it's not the same effort that sit down and write all that in human words.
But one of the problems was not only hallucinations, but was tiredness. So we have to split it into smaller parts.
Yes.
Because if we ask for a large task,
Yes.
It would stop or would do it wrong. Would do only 5 and then say it's done.
We work with a very humble machine with a RTX 2000 with just 12 gigabytes of RAM, and that's very tight for a performant LLM. But well, it went really well.
But differently, it was here because I didn't mention. But in order to make this conversion, that I just skip it, we also use and this is even more interesting, the process. So for identify, because the way it was, for example, language or languages, this is relatively easy to identify. By in the original text, this was marked in both cases as the same link. This is a term. So we had the annotation that this is a link. In this case, it's relatively easy, but in other cases, it is an indirect direction. And then for doing that, then we use artificial intelligence to use the semantic mapping. So with a vector mapping of the
in the end, we've found that the most performant way of getting good results is using a hybrid approach. That is what we are doing.
What approach?
A hybrid.
Hybrid.
Hybrid approach. You get the best results, the quickest outcome when you get an stochastic approach with the LLM, and then you use lexicometric approximations like regular expression, and you search for exact terms. If you make to take the work, if you get to work embedding models with re-rankers and with traditional text correlation, just searching for the charts for string similarity, you get a very strong results as it's shown from the final results.
But on Wednesday, so it is for semantic analysis. We will show you part of the result.
Okay.
So the result was applied afterwards. So for doing the semantic analysis, that was an idea from Danny. How to use that, the distances, the vectorial distances in this semantic, in order to see what relation exists between the different concepts, and to do one of these knowledge maps. So some of the knowledge maps, I mentioned that of the verbs, but the other, which was a very interesting idea, was to find the implications. So from one concept to another.
But it's not my idea. It was stolen actually. It's from the rack system that organized a knowledge system. Now there's a there's a necessity to organize a lot of information, like on CRM platforms. Enterprises have to want quick results applying AI over the existing data. So all of this made get to develop embedding models that are bi-directional. You get an idea, a sentence, a concept. You just process with embedding LLM and you get one multidimensional vector. It can be 1,000
dimensions.
That points to the semantic direction. So if I got a cat and the word and the description, a dictionary description of a dog that doesn't use the word dog, you can be pretty sure the resulting vector of this embedded model is pointing to the same direction. Maybe because they are both mammals. That's the magic of the AI, the black box model. But you got a very powerful way of knowing if two terms are somewhat related. We don't know how this can be related. CRMs based on AI use embedding models to just crunch all that data and made a large database where they just point the main embedding vector of that content. So when we search for something similar, we ask a query, we ask, where can I find this? I pass over the same embedding model, I get a vector, and I can just take a quick look on the database. These articles are related with mine, but I don't know if it's because this dog is a mammal or because it's furry, it has hair on the body. Then you got this, when you got this result, you have to make a second approach. You can make a second approach, that's the ranking engine. When you ranking, it's more like a traditional conversational model, in the sense that you can take a query and the re-ranker, it's not bimodal, it's not just an input and an output, an income and an outcome. It has two inputs. Actually, the actual question you want to know about the concept you are asking for and the concept. So now you have a closed response, you can narrow your search. Re-ranking, embedding is fabulous because it's very fast. It's not very it's not very precise. But re-ranking, it's costly, but it's costly. It's slow. It's cost computing. Talking about computing, but it's precise in the sense of a traditional model. So you ask, is this because it's furry or because it's a mammal? So we got to think we can install this idea to establish a new map of what's written. If you think about concurrence, we talk on Glossal, we can take a matrix and maybe with a lexicometrical study, we can know how are related verbs and nouns, personal nouns and adjectives, because just, for example, they share a phrase, a sentence. We have done that on el Diccionario General de Sistemas. But you can have, and that could be called what is mapped, or is a map of what is breathing. But you taking advantage of these embedding and re-rankers and the RAG prototypes that are camping all around, we thought that we could use this very same approach just to pair terms that might be similar, and then ask on the ranking how A is needed to know about B. But not only this, but the only way around also. If I have B, I can ask, how do I need B to know exactly what A means? And so I can make a comparison of the direction of the relation and make a semantic flow with an arrow that has the direction. So do I need to know brown to know cat, or it's first to know cat to understand?
But we will see that on Wednesday, because without with the representation,
all the story.
yeah. And don't worry about this stealing, because we stole everything from Greece. So from Aristotle, from Plato, we are just keeping on the path. Yeah, just to give credit to the place where we are, that we are grateful. But I would like to have some hints. So from the Institute for Information Management. So Ana and Jorge, the newly established institute in the University Carlos III. Because all of this, it has to do with information management. I don't know if you can give us some hints. Okay. Yeah.
Hi there. Yeah. Well, I'm not sure about what are the correct hints. Well, I know what you're doing from a long time ago, and I think you're in the correct path. I don't know if I can say something specific now, because, as you know, I'm very new in the research institute. So I think you're going in the correct path. How you are storing and managing all this knowledge. So I don't know how to say you.
Okay, at least it's encouraging what you're saying.
Yeah, I think you're doing great. And yeah, the use of artificial intelligence tools is something that we need to use. It's going to be very helpful. And the idea is to check what is the better way to use them, because as you already said, we need to be careful when we are using generative artificial intelligence tools, because of the bias, because of the hallucinations and all these things. So yeah, just taking this into account, I think we need to do it, because otherwise it is so demanding if we are doing everything manually, that this is not it is not a good way to do it. And the use of artificial intelligence is the correct way to do it, but with
carefully. Yeah, for that purpose. So curation was always a central objective. We always had kind of the clear idea that curation was necessary. The problem we have, is that we were very happy of having such wonderful corpus, but now we are suffering that it's too large to reveal all what we have been doing. So we have, for example, the work of some students doing some practicum. So one of them was my son. And that was good, but still, so for the encyclopedia, we have a lot of work in front. I hope we can have for the management of the encyclopedias and the diccionario, but this is one of the purpose we have with the Sociedad Iberoamericana de Sistemas Generales, to have also the support of them, because one of the ideas for us is to make that the platform is sustained. So this has been a long-term endeavor, and we are committed with it, because we believe this has to be kept. But for that we need the cooperation. Something we are working in. And one of the ideas also that is part of the support of the Global App Dixit project is the constitution of the consortium, and it's of course very important, and we are very grateful, for example, with the cooperation of the University of the Aegean here that has been supporting the platform for many years. The cooperation also with you, with the institute, cooperation that we have also to make it operate so with the International Society for the Study of Information, the Austrian. GC is also the Austrian, the Sociedad Iberoamericana as well. So let's hope that bringing all those efforts together, so the universities participating in the projects together with these additional helps, the cooperation work. And but this is in any case something we have to materialize, because we are a little bit behind our schedule regarding the agreements. We have it ready, but I hope we have also the opportunity to speak with Modestos. Couldn't be today now because he lost the ferry. And he was coming from Paris. He lost the ferry, so tomorrow he will be participating. And Teresa told me that that she was not being left, so was captured by the rectorship of the university, so from which the project also depends. So she cannot go out. So then we can continue tomorrow. We still have 2 days, so for seeing us, and for tomorrow we have a larger plan. I will try to organize, because many of the proposals I have received, several of them I have received today. So I still need to make a clear plan, schedule time, because most of the additional proposals will be tomorrow. I don't know if today there is somebody who cannot present tomorrow, because I lost a little bit the idea because, of the timing, because this lack of receiving at time the proposal. But maybe, so I don't know whether Jorge and Sonia is fine with the schedule if the presentations are tomorrow, or is anybody willing to make a short presentation now?
Maybe I need to present not tomorrow. One day less, maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
I think our presenters prefer on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, if it is possible.
I don't know if we are going to be okay. I can try to move some of them, but Sonia said, okay, that you have to tell me that, because
maybe we can do it.
but then tell us.
For example, Noelia can move from Wednesday.
Noelia moving to tomorrow.
Oh, maybe Juan and Cruz, they can present both tomorrow.
Okay.
But Jaime and Rodrigo, maybe it's better if they present on Wednesday, because they need to prepare something.
Okay, it doesn't matter, because it can go along well with what we are going to be, because it's the application, this mobile application, right? Okay, that's fine. Okay, then Juan, Cus, we have 2 Juans for tomorrow. So Juan Lobos and then Juan Romero and Cus. And Sonia, when?
Sonia said the day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. And any other one? No. We have, okay. So Sonia Wednesday, then we move Noelia to tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning or tomorrow?
Morning. Has to be in the morning.
I think she has a meeting at 9:30. Maybe she will finish around 11
Okay.
or after 11.
Okay. But tomorrow, Anna, my intention was to have also this discussion on user experience. That's fine.
But tomorrow, you mean tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning?
Like around. So it was like there was like a 2 times for the morning. So the second part was about user experience. And then I asked Modestos to have a discussion. So it would be kind of an open discussion with Juan, Modestos, and so the people who has been participating in the experiments. So so after Sonia's presentation.
But Sonia is on Wednesday.
Okay. No. Who said Noelia?
Okay. Okay.
Well, we need to bear in mind that we have here 1 hour more than Spain.
Yeah. But I put it's annotated.
Well, let's see.
No, all that I'm saying is in Central European time.
Which is this
Are
one.
you gonna send the time slots for it? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Are you gonna send the time slot for each? Because I have a very busy day tomorrow. So yeah.
Yes. I try to collect many of the proposals I have received today, so it's not my fault that I couldn't do it more precise.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to be connected as much as possible, but I can't at all times.
Okay, of course, I understand. So in the evening it will be, so afternoon it will be more so practically oriented to how to participate in the clarification activity and how to organize a clarification activity. All that will be in the evening, also afternoon. And so more about the research, it will be on Wednesday. Jorge. Yes.
No, nothing. It's just I can attend tomorrow morning, but there is no problem in the afternoon, and it's just to know because I think many things that you have explained that new today. You are going to illustrate to this is going to simplify it in the afternoon in any way. For instance, the part of the Gemini, or I don't know.
No,
is it possible just to know how is the round trip? You know, to have more information about the advances.
That will be explained on Wednesday, because tomorrow.
Okay.
So for tomorrow afternoon, it will be mostly dedicated to
clarification task.
Similar to what we did in Munich. So the other way around. So we start with the students or with scientists who are participating in the clarification activity. So there is on the top of the gLw workshop page. So for the workshop, there is one clarification activity or elucidation activity link, and then you come into the link. They will first participate on that, and then we will show how to create a new activity, a new clarification activity.
Okay,
and,
perfect.
That will be the afternoon. But on Wednesday is when we have this about the knowledge representation, and he will explain it, because it's connected to how we do with all this interaction with the artificial intelligence,
Okay.
The analysis of the knowledge system.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
I don't know if no, I don't have here the, but it's very nice. I had thought, but in the end I didn't put it. But we will see it on Wednesday. So it's very nice, the representation, interactive representation with the network.
We'll have some preliminary working examples of the co-occurrence approach and the semantic flow approach. We will see.
Okay, then we will continue. So tomorrow. Thank you very much for your participation, for your patience, and let's see us tomorrow.